Hello, everyone. Welcome to our series of modules and teachings on this instructional design course. My name is A.Kaburi, and today we shall be looking at leveraging AI in instructional design for science education. And we are looking at it in terms of reflective insight and practical tools. So we have talked a lot about the influence and the purpose of AI in our instructional design process, where what it does and how we can implement it successfully. In our previous lessons, we looked at how we can make a better selection of a good AI technology or educational technology that we can use in our classroom. We went on to dive details into how we can use it in a specific context in terms of science teaching. And today we shall be diving more deeper, and we shall be looking at the reflective insight as well as some practical tools that are practical AI tools that can also be used in science education or in the teaching of science. So let's proceed. Now, today, so we want to look quickly at the purpose of AI. And the purpose of AI generally is to make our instruction on the general perspective easier, effective, and efficient. And AI's role in instructional design with focus on science teaching is to give us an honest and in a form of experimental and a hopeful teaching experience. And when we talk about the inclusion of AI in our science instruction or in our science classroom, we should also be concerned about the ethical use of it, because we know that AI has come to stay and is going to be with us for a long time. And even in these days, we have seen how students, faculty, and the academic community around the world, some people are using it ethically and others are also using it unethically. So it is of great concern that we try to talk more or emphasize on the importance of the ethics in the use of AI. So one of the things that someone may ask is that why AI ethics concerns matters. So number one is that the rapid growth of AI and its ethical implications. So AI is growing very fast. Like I said earlier on, it is something that we can no longer do it, and we just have to try to adapt to it and devise more regulations as to how to use it ethically. And number two, why the ethics of AI is of great concern is that the impact of AI ethics on society and business is huge. Yeah, so it doesn't only impact on you as an individual, but it has impact on both individuals, society, business, and the world at large. So it is something that we must regulate it and make sure that it's used ethically for us not to misuse it or not use it ethically. That may bring a lot of negative effects in the near future. Number three is that ethics is a concern in as much as in every profession or in every organization, they have code of ethics. It's the same thing. And as human beings, anything that involves human beings, ethics is of great concern, because without ethics, there will be no orderliness. And without orderliness, there will be a lot of issues. And the fourth thing is that key ethical dilemmas of AI has already been created. There has already been a lot of ethical issues with the use of AI. So for us not to wait until it escalates, it is of great importance that we consider and we talk about its ethical use so that it will not escalate. Now, yes, the University of Cincinnati Online also talked about how optimizing content developing workflow can benefit with AI. So research and brainstorming is something that AI can be used for based on what Cincinnati also talked about. It can also help in the phase of curriculum planning and development, course designs. These are all benefits that AI has contributed to our environment, and it also helps us as teachers or as academicians in the area of content creation. These are all important that the University of Cincinnati talked about as a way of benefiting from the use of AI. But like I said, anything that has benefit and in every organization, there should be something in the form of ethics that is of great concern, that are the rules and regulations backing the use of it, so that the cons of it will not escalate in the near future. Now, let's move ahead and see what makes a resource truly educational. So we try to use AI because we presume and we know for sure that it's an educational resource and it is worth it's worth its usage and it's going to contribute positively to what we are doing. So for AI, David really said that it's educational and it's informational. Anything that what makes something truly a resource truly educational is that the first of all, the thing should be educational and then it should be informational. And with AI, we see that it's not only educational and informational, but it's so add practice with feedback, which we can all testify to that there are a lot of AI platforms, AI systems today that has all these components. They are educational, which we cannot dispute that fact. They also provide a lot of information with regards to the things that we do, understanding the content knowledge that we are going to teach, the application of it that is talking about the outcome, the places, the people that are going to use it, the practices, the values of our mindset. These are all things that AI brings into play, and it makes it more easier and efficient when they are using the right way by following the right tools and and ethics. And in science classroom or in science, it means stimulation, it means problem sets, or it also means inquiry tasks. And last week in our module one, we looked at the simulations by the use of physics educational technology. We talked about how these are all kinds of technology or educational technology tools that are used. And now there's AI that can help you create some kind of diagram that can use in teaching. There is AI that can help you to do some kind of simulations to explain things, abstract things, making them concrete to your learners. So in science, by the inclusion of AI, it helps us in our simulations. It helps us in our problem sets when for us to be able to solve our problems in terms of our classroom lessons and tasks. It also gives us inquiry tasks or gives us the opportunity to do inquiry tasks that can help our learners to understand the content of what we are teaching. Now let's look at quickly at AI in general, also in education, and whether it's a hype versus the reality. And intelligent tutoring system predicts analytics and are rare in classrooms. And especially they are limited to the unfunded science department. Teachers are often left to improvise with minimal resources. So we all know from my background where I'm coming from, there were a lot of challenges, which that doesn't mean they don't still exist. They still exist, but it's better than before. There are a lot of challenges with regards to the teaching and learning of science and uh, things that are supposed to be practicalized with the use of tools and equipments, science laboratory tools and apparatus and equipments to do it. There are no available, and they expect the leaders or the stakeholders expect teachers to improvise, and there are no even resources available for this kind of improvisation. So the inclusion of AI or the introduction of AI now has helped to take away this burden from the teachers in the classroom. So, for example, we see that we have AI platforms that you see over here. That is a student. We have AI platform that will allow teachers to do scaffolding they are able to monitor. So this is the teacher interface. Teachers are able to monitor real-time alert. Teachers are able to do reports. Teachers are able to also do a virtual tour. As you can see here, they allow students to be able to do simulations in real time. And we can see here that they can also give the students feedback. So the teacher is here, he do scaffolding. There's intelligent tutoring system that is able to do an experiment, show the student or the learner with practical visuals for the person to see what is really happening and to relate it to the real world situation. And then teachers are also able to see their interface in real time, what students are really understanding. They give them some kind of assessment, whether formative or summative. Then they are also able to give them feedback based on what the learners have brought out or what the learners input. Then the learners will also see right away from the real-time feedback, and they're able to improve upon that, and then the lesson goes on. So gone are the days when there were no resources for improvisation. Teachers are left just to teach abstract stuff. But now that with the introduction of AI, once there's an opportunity or there's the availability of a laptop or a mobile phone, teachers are able to use these AI tools, which in a way can help them reduce the burden of this improvisation to be able to achieve the same goals they would have achieved if they had the opportunity to have materials or resources available to do improvisation or this science experiment or classroom teaching effectively. Now, so in as much as we know that there are benefits of this AI a lot, which you cannot mention. There are a lot of them. There are also some kind of limitations. And one of the limitations in the science classroom is that it lacks insight into students' focus, motivation, and misconceptions. Because these are robots and they are not magic. They are not magic. They are just tools. And you can also, one of the limitations is that for you to be able to replicate lab-based formative observation, it's also something that is a limitation on these AI tools or AI platforms. And like I said, AI isn't magic. It's just a tool. So you as an individual has to also put in some effort. And like I said, these are some factors that we are supposed to consider for us to be able to embrace AI and embrace it very well. And this, like the psychological and the pedagogical, we need to consider this so well for us to be able to have an effective embrace of AI. And the factors that are impeding this integration, we can talk about technical issues. These are also some kind of limitations. Technical issues, that is hardware, it can be hardware. We can also have ethical, security, and educational concerns. All these are things that there are some schools that they lack student creativity effort, issues that have to do with correct and incorrect information. All these are things that the schools have to also put in place for us to make sure that we have an effective use on AI. Time and workload. The use of AI can sometimes fast track stuff. Its learning and its implementation can also sometimes be time consuming. Educational materials and content incompatibility. They have AI keeps on evolving. Things keep changing, and there are sometimes some instances that new softwares will come up, and their compatibility and materials that are needed for the smooth run of these AI platforms may be difficult. Language and cultural differences is also another limitation when it comes to the use of this AI. We are coming from different backgrounds, different continents, and we still have some cultures that think that the use of this in one way or the other unacceptable. I think all this can be curtailed in the near future when we delve really into the use of AI. Now, strength of this. I've already mentioned a lot about the strength of AI, and you can never mention it enough. AI has a lot. It helps us a lot, and over here you can see that there are a lot of benefits that are attached to it. Like I said, we also have challenges. So it helps us in personalized learning, intelligent tutoring systems. It helps us to do application assessment automation, easy assessment. It helps us. Platforms like Quail.org can help you to do report writing, give instant feedback. We've talked about that over and over again. For potential use in science, we can use it for experiment. We have said that. For lab reports, of course, hypothesis writing, claim evidence reasoning, and all other experimental activities. So these are the strengths that we would like to talk about for the sake of this video. I don't want to make it so long. If it becomes so long, then it starts becoming so boring. Now, so let's look at a few AI platforms that we can use for teaching our classrooms and in the context of science. So, for example, the Magic School AI, we can use them to generate science lessons, plans, differentiated tasks, assessment, which we have talked about in most AI platforms. And an example is that we can use it to do an ecosystem where a lesson plan on ecosystems can be designed. You can make modifications on it based on your objectives, and you can give exit tickets. You can design exit tickets for your learners as well as parents later to let them see what your learners learned on the platform, what you assess them, what they got, and what is your feedback as a teacher. And I think this is incredible, and it's a very good tool, AI tool. Secondly, also we can also look at the fit for signed text. And this particular AI tool can also help us to do scaffold tests for struggling students. We help students to scaffold using this AI tool. It also gives us bullet summaries, vocabulary clarification, students who have challenges with vocabulary comprehension questions. It also gives us this next generation science standard that align with multicultural learners or multilingual learners. So this is also another AI platform, a very fantastic one. You can ask questions, and it gives the learners the opportunity to see how questions are asked, how they can answer the questions very well. Like I said, be able to answer comprehension questions very well. So it improves upon their language skills, both in science and non-science field. And this is also a great tool. And we know our almighty Canva. We also have the magic. That is the magic AI magic. We have been using it. I think some of us have been using it in this class, and we know what it does. We are able to generate visuals, do presentations, have a whiteboard that you can use for teaching. You can use for social media. You can edit your photos, do printing, website inclusion, uploading of videos, a lot more. You can craft a presentation, whether it's a business for educational purpose or your own project. All these are things that you can be done with this. And for the sake of our time, if we go through this, we will see that we have this AI tool that is, and this is in Canva, and it's showing us what is happening over here, the basics of photosynthesis, which I think most of us are used. So we can see how the video is rolling. And like I said, for the sake of our time, we just go ahead onto our presentation. So this is Canva, which we are all familiar with, and we know what to waste time on this. Now, Quail.org, like I said, is also a platform that help us to do reading for evidence, and for the use in science, we can use it to claim evidence reasoning, to do writing of tasks, feedback on clarity, logic, student arguments in science context, and so on and so forth. So we see here, student read the text, designed to build the comprehension skills and knowledge. This is how the Quail.org platform works. We can do annotations, we can reflect, student reflect on identify evidence, and this identify evidence, students are able to finish with a unit, strengthen their writing skills, and also strengthen their comprehension. So it's a very fantastic platform that also help us in our instruction. Now, so the final thoughts. We have learned a lot about the inclusion of AI in the classroom in this context in science education. And our final thought is that current tool saves time. There's no doubt about that. Even though the initial training and learning it may take time, when you are used to it, it saves a lot of time. It supports differentiation. And for the future, we are able to do predictive plus adaptive simulations. We have talked about that last week when we looked at the physics educational technology platforms. And there's a call for action that we need to embrace and shape AI use in our classroom so that it will not have the negative impact and the unethical use will be reduced. And I think that if we embrace this with smooth and transparent regulations with regards to the ethical use of AI. Using it ethically is fantastic. It saves time, like we said. It gives us the opportunity to teach and teach effectively to multi tasks or different kinds of learners in the classroom, in my context, in science classroom, in math classroom, in English classroom, and in all other classrooms. And it helps us also to 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 boost the cognitive understanding or the conceptual understanding of our learners. And I think that it's something that we should all be concerned about its ethical use and how we can make the use of it better for the success and application in the near future. Thank you very much, and let's go Tigers. So this is the references also that I use for the preparation of this model presentation. And I thank you very much for your attention. Your recommendations, your feedback, questions, concerns are all welcome. And let's meet in the discussion forum. Thank you once again. Bye.